President Trump is in the middle of his four-day trip to the Middle East. Today, he was in Qatar. The key aspects of this stop are national security and investments. President Trump is focused on strengthening our relationship with critical partners there in the Middle East. And so far, in the span of just 2 days, some major deals have already been brokered. President Trump signed a $600 billion deal with Saudi Arabia, which will see them invest in the U.S. over the next 4 years. Also today, Qatar announced a deal totaling nearly $244 billion, which includes the sale of 150 Boeing planes and GE Aerospace engines. The president says more deals with Qatar will generate an economic exchange of more than $1 trillion, trillion with a T, in the years to come. Not only that, but several global business leaders went to the Middle East, including U.S. chip maker NVIDIA, which partnered with an AI startup in Saudi Arabia and will now send 18,000 chips to help power a new data center there. The total value of the deal is estimated to be around $7 billion. Joining me now is Hillary Fordwich. She's a business development expert. Hillary, great to see you. So these are some pretty substantial investments we're talking about being made between the U.S. and the Middle East. Talk to us a little bit about the significance of these investments.
Well, Chris, absolute pleasure to be with you this evening, and huge significance. I actually, if I could say on a personal note, never been prouder to be in America. This has been really significant in terms of, I think, also peace and prosperity. If peace is through strength, as President Ronald Reagan said, this is peace through deals. And I will say the left has said this is so transactional, actually having to put this down in some degree. But what this means, Chris, is promises made, promises kept. It means that we're going to have prosperity through this. And you look at the deals that were done. They're deals that will keep peace in the Middle East. We're saving American lives, actually, because our boys aren't going to go, men and women aren't going to go off to war, but also the jobs back to the U.S. and investment in the U.S. as well. Yes, 600 million from Saudi Arabia, 1.4 trillion from Qatar. I think Boeing's doing very well out of this from all the planes that they've bought. And last but not least, it really shows the art of the deal. But the art of the deal isn't just transactional, as the left has been saying. It's also keeping our adversaries at bay. This is keeping China and Russia at bay, because we're doing it with countries that want to keep peace in their region and to do business with us.
What do you think it means that President Trump is so focused right now on the Middle East specifically?
I think he wants peace in this region. As you may recall, and I'm sure our viewers recall, he actually did institute the first administration. I think he really wants peace and prosperity. Is he a deal maker? Absolutely. And I do think when you have businessmen working together, and I'll say and bring in now my business acumen, people who are working together, doing deals, doing business, they're not at war. And I think that's what he wants. I see it as good for the entire world, but particularly that region. Now, there are those that have said, you know, Israel is our strongest ally in that region. He should have gone to Israel. He should have met with Netanyahu. But what he's doing is he's actually basically keeping peace. And so in some ways, this is even more important because he's protecting the Israelis and protecting all of the citizens there. And hopefully the October 7th that happened will never happen again because of all that's going on now and all the peace. Hillary,
the White House is saying the Qatar agreement will generate what they call an economic exchange worth at least $1.2 trillion. I mean, lots of money, 1.2 trillion with a T dollars. What exactly is this exchange? Are we talking about money going both ways here?
We're talking about money going both ways. We're talking about investments. We're talking about building. We're talking about also sharing of, and I think this is something that's very important, sharing of IP. That's one thing that, of course, the Chinese have always done the opposite of. They've always stolen our IP. So I think that's going to be very important. And what does it mean for U.S. jobs? It means we're going to have, because they're doing a lot of construction here too, that's going to be a lot in terms of jobs for different states, albeit I can't actually share, and I don't know exactly which states this will influence to the greatest degree. I do know with the deal, of course, with Boeing, that's Washington State.
Hillary Fordwich, always great to see you. Great context as always. We do appreciate it. Thank you for joining us tonight.